Hi, I'm Colton with Porsche Center Calgary, and exciting day for me because this is the first 992 video I'm doing. So this is a 911, but the 992 generation, the all-new, fully redesigned version for this year. And I must say I'm pretty blown away with the car, actually. The more time I spend with it, the more I like it, and the more I desperately want one of my own. So a little bit about the 992 generation before I break into this one in particular. As I said, all new car. Engine is very similar to the 991.2, the outgoing generation. It's still a 3-liter flat 6 twin turbocharged. It's just reworked a little bit more power than it had before. It used to be 420 horsepower in S variants like this, and now it's 443. But actually, that's also because they change the way they calculate the horsepower. When they first announced the horsepower numbers, it was 450. So comparing with the 420, it is a 30 horsepower bump, but because they changed the calculation, you'll see it as not those round numbers anymore, that 443 instead. But anyhow, everything about the car is new. Transmission's all new. The only piece that is a carryover from last year is the roof. That does depend which roof you go with, though. There's a few different options. You can have the metal roof that opens, the glass roof, or the carbon fiber roof. This one having the glass. So having said that, let's kind of dive into this guy in particular. So it is a Carrera S, so it's a rear-wheel drive car with that 443 horsepower, as I mentioned. Color is a new one for this year. This is Aventurine green metallic, new color, very similar to a green we had years ago on 993, I believe it was, but kind of reinvented for the new 992. Looks really cool, and we paired it with the Carrera exclusive wheels, which is a forged wheel. That's something else they changed. So it used to be, you know, you could have 19 or 20-inch wheels on the 911s. Now they're actually a different size, front and rear. So this is a 20-inch up front, but you have a 21-inch in the back. That was available previously just on the GT3s, but now all of the 911s are that way. Another note actually is the width of the car. It used to be only the rear-wheel drive cars got the wide body in the rear. Now they all do. So if this looks a little wider than other S's, it's because they all are now for 992. But anyhow, more stuff on the outside. Window trim on this one, we went with the silver. This is kind of, you know, a classic look, and paired with that wheel, the silver on the window trim just seems to fit nicely. You know, the black is, I would say, maybe a sportier look if you're going for that. But this speaks to the more kind of classic nature of the build that we're trying to kind of invoke, right? So that's outside. Moving inside, it has the full black leather with the chalk stitching. For this year, you can do a lot of different stitching options that you couldn't do before, actually for a lot less money. So this black with the gray stitch in there is a great value. It's the same price as if it didn't have the contrasting stitch. And last year, if you wanted to do that, you would have had to have paid about another $4 grand to get the contrasting stitch. So there is some value there. Other content that we put in here, we put in Bose audio, which I still recommend on pretty well all of the cars that we sell. So we did that. We did the 14-way adjustable seat. The seats are a little bit different from what they were last year, but very similar. 14-way and 18-way, just like before. 18-way is a little bit more heavily bolstered. 14-way is a little bit flatter. There, I would say in the sports cars, they sell at about an even rate, but the 14-way, some people find a little more comfortable. The 18-way, to some people, just wraps around a little too much and can make it more difficult to get in and out of. So anyhow, 14-way seat, and we added the seat ventilation. Heated seats are now standard on 911, or they weren't actually before. You had to tick a box and pay a little extra to get them. Now you don't. And actually, on that note, that was added. So is PDK now. The dual clutch transmission is another standard feature. So when you look at the base price this year versus the base price last year, seems like the price of the car went up by quite a bit, but it actually gained a lot of expensive features that used to be optional as standard equipment. So had you optioned those on last year's car, price differential actually ends up being pretty minimal to go to the new one. So mention that. Oh, and entry and drive we did as well, so you can just leave your key in your pocket. And now when you approach the door, when your hand gets close to the door handle, it actually notices kind of flush with the body right now. It pops out a little bit, so you can just, that much more easy to open it. If it doesn't pop out for whatever reason, you can always open it anyway, even when it is flush. But with the entry and drive, it pops out. It's just kind of a neat high-tech feature. All the time now, though, they did change entry and drive this year, so no matter what, you don't have to insert the key into the dash anymore like you did last year. Even without the entry and drive option, you can still leave your key in the pocket to start it. You'll just need to take it out and press the button to get into the car. This one has entry and drive, so you don't have to worry about that. We also put in lane change assist or blind spot warning, which pretty well everybody wants, so we'll put on virtually all the cars that we order for stock. Another thing that we added to this one that's new for this year is the surround view camera. So we've had that for several years now on the SUVs and on the Panamera, but not on the 911s. This year is the first. So they will all come with a backup camera as standard, but you can finally option the surround view, so you get a camera on the front and one underneath each side mirror, so you get that top-down view. And I was just driving one with it today. Super high definition. It works phenomenally well. I really like that feature. So we put that on here. The glass roof I already mentioned, that's here, and it does open as well. It's not just a fixed glass roof. It does open a little bit, let some air in if you want to. In addition to that, headlights upgraded there too. We've got the matrix LEDs available now, and that is what we optioned on this one. So we've had those again for a bit on the SUVs, but not available on the 911s until this year. So what the matrix LEDs do is allow you to leave your high beams on, and when a car is coming the other way, rather than just turning them off or dipping them out of the way, it turns off only the specific LEDs that are affecting that car, so the rest of your lights are all on, and you'll just see kind of a black spot go as that car drives by. Doesn't dazzle them, but keeps the maximum visibility for you, the driver. So really cool feature. Nice to see it finally in the 911. We also did the Sport Chrono package, which works much the same as it did last year. You have your mode switch on the steering wheel to go from Sport, Sport Plus, and individual modes. The cars will have Sport mode regardless, but Sport Chrono gives you the Sport Plus and the individual mode, as well as the Sport Response button, which you can press and is kind of a push to pass, gives you kind of maximum boost for 20 seconds, though you can just press it and restart that 20 seconds over and over and over again if you want to. There's no actual limit. So we have that. A new mode this year is wet mode, though, that we didn't have previously, but you don't have to get Sport Chrono to get that. You would have the wet and the sport mode regardless. Sport Chrono also giving you the launch control, though, which gets you the best possible 0 to 60 time on this car, which is quite fast. And I'm already reading that Porsche's estimates, as usual, are a little bit conservative, and several of the magazines have been able to get even faster, as quick as 3 seconds on the S model. So pretty impressive performance, and I've driven a few of the cars, and I can say it definitely feels like 3 seconds. Really cool stuff. And then also, just coming back to the seats for a moment, we did the embossed crest on the headrest, which is a subtle touch, but one I really like, and does make it just feel a little bit more special in there. So that pretty well sums up this model. There's a lot more to know and learn about the 911 in general for this 992 generation, but here's this one. Really cool color, nice features, super nice example. When we're done here, I'm going to pull this one upstairs into the showroom. So if you liked it, please do come down, check it out, see it in person, and very soon we'll have one available to drive as well. Thanks very much for watching.